quote that I really like and that stood out to me, and also helps with some of the imperfection of things and the small steps of things, which I'll get into in a later point. So the quote goes, "There's always something you can do to move forward. A tiny action that will improve your current position. Pick up one piece of paper and put it in the recycling bin. Find one pen that no longer works and throw it away. Remove one book or magazine from the bookshelf and acknowledge that a tiny step forward is still a step forward." Brooke McAllery, 2018, page 46. So I love that so much, because this concept is found throughout the entire book. And also, the way it worked out in my life is that I had finished reading and publishing a review on like a teen's guide to getting stuff done, and it was kind of about the 4 different procrastination styles, and just how to really break down really big tasks into smaller consumable chunks. And to find that same concept encouraged, improved upon, and fleshed out in this book was just like the perfect thing, because for me, I had just finished reading that one, I had just published that review, and now I was getting it from someone else in, the same sort of nonfiction avenue, and being told the same kind of thing. So that really inspired me. That really made me feel more motivated, and this book, for my entire experience for the 4 months that I actually took to read it, I really appreciated that. Like, perfectionism is something that I really struggle with, and I'm finally more open and able to be like, hey, this is something I struggle with. Like, it is an OCD kind of thing. And, even when I do my makeup, I can kind of tell, like, I want it to be, just so, in a sense. And it was really something, that whole concept that she goes into, and I'll talk about in other quotes, is that imperfect action over perfection. Because perfection, especially in the way that I see it, and in the general way most people see it, it's this super high up there, sparkly, amazing thing that isn't likely to occur naturally or occur in a timely fashion. Like, my perfectionism has collided and consumed so much. I keep using the word consume, but it's consumed so much of my life in so many areas of my life that I am frozen and paralyzed in not being able to produce the kind of content as frequently and as much as I want to, and as much as I know I can. And it's so frustrating and so debilitating, and it's awful. And just to hear and read and see and write, and just all of the processing of imperfect action is way more important than ever attaining perfection, is just every lesson I needed to be told. And like, that changed the game for me. Like, I actually did a group at work at Althea of, imperfection over perfection, and like, I pulled this quote, and I pulled other like perfectionism quotes, and I made it into a group and everything. And I forget what coloring activity they did after, but I made it into a group. I made it into something else. Like, I got to create out of it. And I think also art, particularly painting and watercoloring, is all about layers. I didn't know that before, but it really is all about layers. And, just learning things and knowing that I'm not going to get it right, like right off the bat, very likely at least. And knowing that it's going to take time, and it's going to take effort, and it's going to take just that one little step. Like, a small step is still a step. And breaking it down into, okay, this like paragraph message is a little overwhelming. Okay, I'll just read the first sentence and reply to that. I just keep going like that. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect, and perfection doesn't exist to begin with. And that for me was just the biggest lesson that I needed. And even when she was talking in this past quote that I just read to you, that quote that like, just take one pen and throw it away, like, I actually wound up doing that. Like, I get so attached to things, and you know, like, it'll be a full gel pen, and I'm like, oh, it has all full ink, oh, great, I can use it, and then I go to use it, and it doesn't work, and then I try it like 2, 3, 4, 5 times, and it still doesn't work, and it's like that. It looks like it's completely full. I don't understand why it's not working, but I'll keep it for months because it's like I'm attached to this. Like, I can't let it go. And then to read that in this book, like, to just throw out that one pen, like, I actually, like, when I was reading this book, I actually wound up getting, like, my big pack of gel pens that I bought in, like, fall 2018, and I went through them, and I ditched all the ones that didn't work, and I reorganized the ones that still did into different, you know, glitter ones, neon ones, you know, all of that. And it was from this book. Like, it was from this book, and there's other things I want to declutter, kind of, or just disown in my room. Like, I want to redo part of my, like, the corkboard I have over my bookshelf. And there's a couple things on it that I know I want to just throw out because I'm no longer friends with those people, or, you know, there's things I'm ready to let go of. And this book really is about how slower, simpler living is as much gaining things from just letting go of other things. And, you know, it's that big dialectic in life that, you know, things will come and go, and it's okay to let them go. It's okay to maybe hold on to some things, but maybe not everything. And maybe having less stuff can give you more stuff in a metaphorical, figurative sense rather than a literal sense. So it was just such a good book, and I really pulled a lot out of it, and I'm going to reuse some other quotes. This will be a quick quote. Every day, I would find time to notice things from the mindfulness chapter, to practice tiny moments of mindfulness, spending time outside, breathing in the scent of flowers, studying the bees, and feeling the sun on my skin. Page 120. I love that because as I alluded to in some other part, in some other video portion of this, that I was noticing bees today. So just that little bit of that smallest thing of mindfulness, like just focusing on your breath, or focusing on the way your feet feel on the ground, or the taste of chocolate in your mouth, or the scent of new flowers, or anything to that effect, is mindfulness. This is a quote I want to share for the fact that it is Mental Health Awareness Month. It's May 2022, so it goes, but bad feelings are important, because in order to feel the highs of joy and happiness, we also need to understand the lows of grief, envy, or disappointment. Mindfulness allows us to acknowledge and accept such feelings, feel them in all their depth, and understand that they are valid and important. It also helps us to understand that they are not everything, even on days that feel like sadness has swallowed up the world. Raquel, 2018, page 141 to 142. At the end of the day, emotions and thoughts just want space to be felt and heard. And as long as a person can take no action necessarily, healthy or unhealthy, to combat those things, or to suppress them, or to push them aside, if someone can just sit with them for a minute, or 5, or 10, or 30, you know, break it up and go up from there, that's all they really want. That's really all what emotions or thoughts want. They just want space to be seen and felt and heard and noticed and acknowledged, and then let go. Because they will go. They will come, and they will go, and they will come, and they will go. That is the experience of being human. No person can feel happy 100% of the time. Not truthfully, not in a true sense of happiness, you can't feel only happy emotions all the time. It's inhuman. life is that duality. Life is the good and the bad. Life is happy and desperation. Life is laugh. What did I say laugh for? Life is happiness and life is desperation. Life is beautiful and life is terrible. Life is both of those things. Life is life and death. You know, like, life is so much bigger and also simpler in some ways than we tend to acknowledge or are okay with acknowledging. And I don't know, life comes and goes too. Like, nothing is permanent and everything can change. And to sit with uncomfortable feelings allows them time to be felt, which is what they want. And then you can let go of it. And then move on to the next thing. And, you know, just as happy emotions go by, so do the horrible emotions. And just feeling them and not taking any action about them and just sitting with it and noticing it, it can provide more healing than trying to fight it, trying to suppress it, trying to run from it, trying to avoid it. And this isn't gonna be easy. It's not gonna be easy. It's not gonna be this simple, you know, fast action kind of thing. It is an ongoing process. I'm not perfect at it. I definitely am not perfect at it. My natural space of life is to avoid things. And I know at the end of the day that with mindfulness especially, you know, noticing thoughts or noticing emotions come as waves on the ocean or clouds in the sky or leaves on a pond. Like, they will come and they will go. And that is the beauty of life, and also the really fragility of life and the scariness of life, because it's scary to feel, especially when it comes to like flashbacks and things like that. Like, nobody wants to experience that. Nobody in their right mind wants to experience that. And it's not easy. It doesn't feel like it's, you know, it feels like it's forever. It feels horrible. It just wants to be acknowledged. And then also, if I can give myself kindness when I'm having those tough times, that's way better than beating myself up for it or self-harming from it or whatever, because I don't deserve that. I don't deserve that pain. I don't need to put more pain on my already emotional pain, put more pain on top of that pain. You know, all I want is kindness. So, I think my video's out of sync, but okay. That's my spiel. Another quote. I don't do any of these skills perfectly or even well necessarily, but I don't let that stop me anymore. If there's anything I've learned over the past few years, it's that small, imperfect action every day is going to get me further than one big occasional change. McAllery, 2018, page 190. I love that. I love that so much, because it's like, wouldn't I rather take imperfect, small steps today to get and complete my goal in the future than to wait like hundreds of days to maybe attain perfection, and then even then maybe it won't even be perfect, right? Like, just the small steps, and just like break it down into the smallest factors. Like, even like for my fanfiction chapter, like, I didn't just get up one day and just, you know, came out with like 23 pages of work. Like, it took like, okay, I'm gonna read this one sentence, I'm gonna read, you know, it might not even have been a conscious kind of idea, but essentially that's what happened. I read each line, I wrote in my notebook, I picked up the pen to write in my notebook, I had the ability to write in my notebook, I played the right song, and it took a while before I found the right song, but I found the right song, and then I wrote to it, and I reread, and I edited, and I put all this time and effort, and it was all imperfect action. And that's what got me to get to where I am now, where I'm going to be updating this story. And so, imperfect action over perfection is just the biggest lesson, skill, and language I've gotten out of this book. Here's a quote that I want to include in my choices and crossroads group for Althea. Every moment of every day, I can find something to be disappointed by. I can look around me at any given second and find something that is lacking, something not quite right, something to complain about, or feel annoyed by, or saddened by. Instead, I try to flip it. If there is always something to grumble about, surely there's also something to be grateful for in the same situation. My breath, my heartbeat, the sunshine, the clothes I wear, the people around me, the glimmer of hope. There is always something, no matter how dark the day. Page 196. The reason I wanted to read that quote is because I think it goes really well with choices and crossroads. This is where one of my group for Althea. Recovery is a choice. The conditions that a person lives with is not a choice. The recovery part is. I can choose to act on an unhealthy thought or choose a healthier option. Is it going to be perfect? No. Is it going to take time? Yes. Is it going to take sort of a retraining of the brain? Yes, absolutely. And even if it's not as big as that, maybe if it's just, I'm going to put on a different color pair of socks today. I'm going to play a song when I'm laying in the fetal position. I'm going to just turn over this way when I'm laying in the fetal position. I am going to not text that person back. I'm not going to care what John Smith down the street thinks of me doing or not doing something. And it's also... Oh, I lost my thought. But choice is also even that, like, smaller bit of, like, the smaller yet most profound bit of, I'm not going to lay here waiting to die. I'm going to take my life. Not in that way. I'm going to take back the power in my life, and I'm going to choose to live. Like, choice is, I can't change how I got to this hospitalization. What I can do is shift the way I move forwards. That is a choice. You know, I had a social worker tell me before that I didn't have any choice in my treatment, and I knew that wasn't true because I always have a choice. Would I necessarily have a choice in being sent to a state hospital, especially being committed involuntarily? Probably not that much. But how I acted in that state hospital, if I went, that's my choice. I have control over that. That's up to me. That's Raquel. That's my power. I can take it. Or I can wield it in a different way. I could also act on unhealthy things, unhealthy thoughts, unhealthy emotions, and I could hurt myself or end my life. That is my choice, ultimately. Whether I choose to go down this path or I choose to go down that path, that power is up to me. So I don't know. Choices are just such a important thing, whether it's the outlook or, you know, something physical that you can do or whatever it might be. There's always a choice. There's always, you know, I control my behavior. I control my actions. I take responsibility for my actions. I take responsibility for my recovery. There is a page 16 in this book that is one of the prompts. I won't go fully into it, but it is called The Barometer of Caring. And there's an example page within the book, and I also did my own example page in my planner, and I have it as a photo on my review. some of the things I mentioned, so the top down, the top of the barometer is number 10, and it's the mission statement, or as the gallery places it, the eulogy statement, eulogy worthy. And some of the things I have in it are human connection, being a light to others, authenticity, creativity, kindness, drive, and passion. For what I could care more about, that I could improve upon, for me, some of them are learning languages, culture, life outside my bubble, environmental self-care, as well as just ordinary chores around the house, learning more about copyright, and observing people and places, societies, and also body language. And facial recognition, more so. Facial recognition for sure. And then the number 1, which is at the very bottom of it, the things I could care less about: reality TV, stock market, things that are in fashion or out of fashion, traveling, which might not be completely true anymore, but maybe, and most sports. Alright. Hi, Raquel again. So I figured out that I'm going to add an additional section to the slow review, and also it's going to be 3 parts. So the whole review video format of the review will be in 3 different parts, and I have a list of what those parts will be. So that's sort of the raw footage length of them. And for this one, I'm going to add something I didn't mention when I filmed the video review, so I'm going to add it to this part, probably another like 5 minutes or so. So anywho, as to where I put this, it's currently May 5th, and I returned the book, and the timeline of things, I returned the book on like Wednesday. It's Thursday now, so I returned it Wednesday, and the fees have disappeared, so now I only owe $37, which I'm really excited about, really happy about. So yes, so as always, stay safe, take care, be well, much love and light to you. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for part 3, and I'll get it up as soon as so. Yay! And if you have any books that you would like me to review again as like a video format, or even things to review, like reread, or something you are reading that you think I might like, and if there's any mental health stuff, just mention trigger warnings on the bottom in your comment. But yes, I will take requests, I suppose, and I will do more video book review things. So yeah, it'll be fun. And I hope you have a good day. Alright. Bye, thanks, and stay tuned for part 2 or part 3, and I'll put this in those videos.
I can see a lighthouse through the smoke. Everything is lost, I know.